Somewhere in your kitchen right now, there is a piece of fruit you're afraid of. Maybe it's sitting in a bowl you don't reach into anymore. Maybe you used to eat it every day before a doctor, a nurse, or a photocopied diet sheet told you to be careful with sugar. And fruit got lumped in with candy bars and soda without anyone ever explaining why. Maybe you still buy it out of habit and it just goes soft on the counter, uneaten, while you reach for something that felt safer. If that's you, I want you to stop for a second, because what I'm about to tell you might change how you shop, how you snack, and honestly, how you feel about food for the rest of your life. I'm Dr. Claire Brooks, and in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to walk you through 3 specific fruits that most diabetics have been wrongly taught to fear, what the actual research says about them, exactly how to eat them, and one warning near the end that could genuinely matter for your medication. Stay with me to the end for that one because it's the part almost nobody tells you. Let's get into it. Why fruit equals bad is the wrong frame. If you have diabetes, someone has probably told you to fear fruit. A doctor glancing at a chart during a rushed appointment? A well-meaning relative repeating something they heard once decades ago? A diet sheet photocopied so many times the print has gone gray and blurry around the edges. Watch the sugar. 1 piece a week. Skip the fruit bowl, stick to broccoli. I'm going to tell you flatly, a huge amount of that advice is outdated, oversimplified, and doing you more harm than good. Fruit, the right fruit in the right form, in a real portion, is not the enemy of blood sugar control. For 3 specific fruits, it might actually be one of your strongest allies. Not a cure, not a free pass, but a genuine evidence-backed tool that most diabetics have been scared away from for no good reason. So why does this myth persist? Partly because it's simple. Fruit has sugar, sugar is bad for diabetics, therefore avoid fruit is an easy sentence to say in a 15-minute appointment. It's also easy to remember, easy to repeat to a family member, easy to write on a handout, but easy isn't the same as accurate. And in this case, easy has cost a lot of people a lot of genuinely nutritious food for no good reason. Here's the thing nobody explains on the pamphlet. Fruit isn't just sugar wrapped in a peel. It's sugar bundled together with fiber, water, and plant compounds that actively change how that sugar hits your bloodstream. Strip any one of those things away, and the fruit behaves completely differently. Keep them intact, and something remarkable happens. Let's break down exactly what's doing the work. Fiber slows absorption, so sugar trickles into your bloodstream instead of flooding in all at once. Think of it less like a light switch and more like a dimmer. Water content dilutes concentration. A fresh peach is mostly water, so the sugar inside it is far less concentrated than it looks on paper. Plant compounds, polyphenols, flavonoids, anthocyanins, support the metabolic machinery that's already under strain in diabetes in ways researchers are still actively studying. That's why a whole apple and a glass of apple juice are not remotely equivalent, even though a nutrition label might make you think so at a glance. Juice strips out the fiber entirely. Dried fruit concentrates the sugar and removes the water that would have diluted it. Whole, fresh fruit keeps everything intact. Skin, pulp, fiber, water, and that intact package behaves completely differently once it's inside your body. This is really the whole video in miniature. Form matters as much as content. The same fruit in a different form is practically a different food. 5 rules before we get to the fruits themselves. Write these down if you need to. 1. Whole and fresh beets juiced or dried every single time. 2. Portion size is not optional. Double the fruit, double the sugar load. This isn't a food you get to eyeball loosely. 3. Pair fruit with protein or healthy fat whenever you can. It blunts the spike further, sometimes dramatically. 4. Spread fruit across the day instead of stacking servings into one sitting. 5. Your glucose meter is the final judge. Everyone's response is a little different, and no video, including this one, can tell you your exact number. Keep those 5 rules in your back pocket. We're going to come back to them again and again as we go through each fruit. Now, the 3. Fruit number 1, berries. The lowest sugar, highest fiber move you can make. If you take one thing from this whole video, make it this: eat more berries. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries. As a group, they have the lowest sugar load of any common fruit and some of the highest fiber content, period. If there were a single fruit category built almost by accident to suit a diabetic's needs, this would be it. Let's look. Fruit number 2, apples. The boring, reliable, underrated workhorse. Apples get dismissed as too sugary constantly, usually by people who never look past the first line of the nutrition label. A medium apple does have about 19 grams of sugar. On paper, that sounds like a lot. But look at what comes bundled along with it, because the whole story is never in that one number alone. That apple also carries 4 to 5 grams of fiber, a large share of it a specific type called pectin, a fiber that has been studied extensively for slowing sugar absorption and improving cholesterol at the same time. Research has repeatedly shown that eating a whole apple produces a noticeably smaller blood sugar rise than the sugar content on the label would predict, precisely because that pectin is quietly doing damage control the entire time the fruit is digesting. Apples also bring polyphenols to the table, quercetin in particular, linked in studies to better insulin sensitivity and lower inflammation. And here's a statistic worth sitting with. Regular apple consumption has been associated with lower rates of developing type 2 diabetes in the first place, along with better outcomes in people who already have it. This isn't just apples are neutral, so go ahead. The research suggests they may be actively protective. There's also a satiety factor that doesn't show up on any nutrition label. Chewing a whole apple, with its fiber, its water content, the sheer physical act of biting and chewing something firm, fills you up in a way that a handful of crackers or a granola bar simply doesn't. Your brain registers, I ate something substantial after an apple in a way it often doesn't after a quick soft snack. And weight management is one of the single biggest levers for improving blood sugar control in type 2 diabetes. A food that's satisfying, low-calorie, and gentle on blood sugar all at once is doing triple duty. Practical points to actually put this into practice. Eat the skin. Don't peel it. That's where much of the fiber and polyphenol content concentrates, and peeling an apple is, nutritionally speaking, throwing away a meaningful chunk of the reason you're eating it in the first place. Pair it with a tablespoon of natural peanut butter or a small handful of nuts. It slows the blood sugar response even further and makes the whole snack far more satisfying. You'll likely find yourself less tempted to graze afterward. Tart varieties like Granny Smith run slightly lower in sugar and slightly higher in polyphenols than sweeter varieties like Fuji or Gala. But honestly, the best apple is the one you'll actually keep eating. A slightly less perfect apple that ends up in your stomach beats a theoretically optimal apple that goes brown and gets thrown out. Apples are cheap. They need zero prep, no washing bowls, no chopping, no blending. They travel in a bag or a coat pocket without bruising easily, and they keep for weeks in the fridge without spoiling. There is genuinely no excuse not to have one within arm's reach, whether that's your desk drawer, your car, or your bag. Fruit number 3, citrus, and the one warning you need to hear. Oranges get the same bad reputation as apples. Too sweet? Be careful. Let's look at the actual numbers instead of the rumor, the same way we did with berries and apples. A medium orange has about 12 grams of sugar and 3 grams of fiber, a moderate load, made noticeably gentler by that fiber and by the fruit's high water content. An orange is, physically, mostly water held together by pulp and peel. That's part of why it feels so refreshing to eat, and it's also part of why the sugar inside it is more diluted than a quick glance at the label suggests. Citrus fruits are loaded with vitamin C, supporting immune function that's often somewhat compromised in people managing diabetes, plus flavonoids that have been studied for their effects on insulin sensitivity and blood vessel function. Regular citrus intake has been linked in research to better cardiovascular outcomes, and as we already covered, cardiovascular health is critical territory for anyone managing diabetes, not a side conversation. Now here's the part I promised you at the very start of this video. Grapefruit is different and it matters. Grapefruit interacts with a long list of medications, some statins, some blood pressure medications, some diabetes medications, by altering how your liver processes them. This isn't folk wisdom or an old wives' tale, it's a real, well-documented pharmacological interaction. Grapefruit contains compounds that can block an enzyme your body uses to break down certain drugs, which means those drugs can build up to higher than intended levels in your bloodstream. If you're on any prescription medication and you eat grapefruit regularly or drink grapefruit juice regularly, talk to your pharmacist. This isn't a minor footnote buried at the bottom of a label. It's a genuine, documented interaction that can meaningfully change how your medication behaves in your system, for better or worse. The good news: oranges, tangerines, clementines, and mandarins don't carry the same interaction risk. This is specifically a grapefruit issue, not a citrus family issue, so you don't need to give up the whole category. Just be deliberate about the one member of it that requires a conversation with your pharmacist first. And here's the line I want you to remember from this entire section: a whole orange is a diabetic-friendly food. Orange juice is not. And treating the two as interchangeable is one of the most common mistakes out there, made by well-informed people all the time. Juice strips the fiber and concentrates the sugar, producing a blood sugar spike far larger than the fruit it came from would ever cause. If you want citrus, eat it. Don't drink it. A quick recap before we move to your questions. Let's pause here for a second because we've covered a lot of ground. Berries, lowest sugar, highest fiber, packed with anthocyanins that support heart health, half a cup to a cup a day, fresh or frozen, ideally with protein like Greek yogurt. Apples, more fiber and polyphenols than people give them credit for. Genuinely satisfying to eat, skin on, ideally with a small handful of nuts or a spoon of peanut butter. Citrus, moderate sugar softened by fiber and water, strong vitamin C and flavonoid content, whole fruit only, and a real conversation with your pharmacist if grapefruit and your medications are both in the picture. Notice the pattern running underneath all three. It was never really about the sugar number on the label. It was about what came bundled with that sugar and what form the fruit was in when it reached your mouth. That single idea, form matters as much as content, is the thread tying this entire video together. Fast answers to what you're already wondering. Let's move quickly through some of the most common questions I hear on this topic. What about other fruits I haven't mentioned? Pears behave a lot like apples. Similar fiber, similar pectin content, similar gentle blood sugar response. Peaches, plums, and other stone fruit are fine in moderate portions. Cherries are reasonable but calorie-dense, so watch the amount rather than treating them as unlimited. Kiwi is solid, small, fiber-rich, and often overlooked. Melon is hydrating and low-calorie, but can still move your numbers more than people expect, so keep an eye on portions there specifically. What should you be more careful with? Bananas, especially very ripe ones, run higher in sugar as they ripen. The riper the banana, the more of its starch has converted to sugar, so half a banana is often the smarter call over a whole large one. Grapes are easy to overeat by the handful, largely because they're small and don't require any chewing effort to plow through a whole bunch. Mangoes and pineapple are higher sugar tropical fruits and deserve tighter portions than the three fruits we focused on today. What about dried fruit? This is concentrated sugar with the water stripped away, and portion sizes shrink dramatically as a result. A quarter cup of raisins carries as much sugar as a full cup of grapes, the exact same fruit, just with all the water removed and the sugar left behind to concentrate. Not a daily habit. Fine as a small, occasional flavor addition, but not something to treat casually. What about juice? From a blood sugar standpoint, juice behaves far more like soda than like fruit. All of the fiber is gone, all of the sugar remains, and it hits your bloodstream fast. Skip it as a regular drink, full stop. What about smoothies? Better than juice because the fiber generally stays in the blend rather than being strained out, but easy to overload with multiple sweet fruits and no protein, which turns a reasonable snack into a sugar bomb in a glass. One or two fruits, a protein source like Greek yogurt, maybe a handful of spinach for volume without sugar, that's a real meal. 3 fruits and a drizzle of honey blended together is a dessert wearing a disguise, not a health food. What about frozen fruit specifically? Just as good as fresh, often meaningfully cheaper, and always available regardless of season. Stock your freezer with berries especially. It removes the excuse of, I didn't have any fresh ones entirely. Does timing matter? Yes, somewhat. Fruit eaten with a meal or alongside protein or fat produces a gentler blood sugar response than fruit eaten alone on an empty stomach. Spreading fruit through the day rather than eating 3 servings at once also tends to produce a smoother overall pattern. How much per day total? 2 to 3 servings, spread out across the day, focused mainly on the 3 fruits we covered today, is a reasonable target for most people managing diabetes. But, and I want to say this clearly, your own glucose readings are the real answer here. This video is a starting point and a framework, not a ceiling carved in stone. Nobody watching this knows your body better than your own meter does. The bigger picture. These 3 fruits are not the only acceptable fruits on the table. They're simply the ones that combine the lowest glycemic impact with the highest fiber and the most supportive plant compounds. And they happen to be things you can buy at any grocery store, year-round, without a special trip or a specialty health food store. But I want to zoom out even further than fruit, because I think it matters. A person who eats an apple as part of a diet built around vegetables, lean protein, healthy fats, and whole grains is doing well. Genuinely well. A person who avoids fruit entirely out of fear but lives on processed snacks and sugary drinks the rest of the time is not better off for having skipped the apple. Not even close. The overall pattern of what you eat matters more than any single food ever will, in isolation. Fear of one category. Fruit, while ignoring genuinely higher risk categories like refined carbohydrates and sugary drinks, is a kind of misplaced caution. It feels responsible. It often isn't, not in proportion to the actual risk. And inside a solid, well-built overall pattern, whole, fresh fruit doesn't just fit, it earns its place as one of the better choices available to you. I'd also gently push back on the idea that managing diabetes has to mean a life of constant restriction and joyless eating. Berries and yogurt, an apple with peanut butter, a whole orange in the afternoon. These aren't consolation prizes. They're genuinely good food, backed by real research, that also happens to taste like something you'd choose even if you didn't have to think about blood sugar at all. Our action list. Let's bring this all the way home with something concrete you can actually act on today. Berries, half a cup to a cup daily. Fresh or frozen. Frozen is not a downgrade. Yogurt, oatmeal, smoothies, or straight from the container. 1 apple most days, skin on, ideally with a small handful of nuts or a spoon of natural peanut butter alongside it. Citrus, several times a week. Whole fruit, never juice. Skip grapefruit specifically if you're on interacting medications, and check with your pharmacist if you're unsure whether that applies to you. Rotate your choices rather than eating the exact same thing every day. Different fruits bring different nutrients to the table. Track your own response with your glucose meter. Your meter tells you more about your body than any general rule in this video ever will. Pair fruit with protein or fat whenever you can. It remains the single easiest way to flatten a spike, and it costs you almost nothing to do. Avoid juice, sweetened fruit products, and heavy dried fruit as regular habits. Occasional is fine. Daily is where the trouble starts. If this changed how you think about the fruit bowl sitting in your kitchen right now, send it to the person in your life who's been eating dry toast for years because someone told them fruit was off limits. That kind of advice sticks around far longer than it should, passed from person to person like a rumor nobody bothers to fact check. And it doesn't have to keep spreading. Sometimes the most useful thing you can do for someone you care about is simply hand them better information. I'm Dr. Claire Brooks. Go eat some berries.